Hello children, this is Dr. Mrimbi. I'm here to give you the first tutorial in our series of tutorials. I'm the teacher for information communication technology here in Zambia. We are thought of to go digital so that our children can have access on these videos or tutorials on their flash or CDs or online, so that they can be at their home or in wherever they feel like to be with their gadgets and then learn online. Thank you very much. I'm here to present a tutorial on that is the component of creative and technology studies. That is technology studies as a component where there's expressive arts, home economics. And then children, as you are aware that at grade 7 level, they are supposed to sit for what we call the creative and technology studies at the end of the year. This paper, which is called CTS, has 3 components, as I've mentioned: the expressive arts, home economics, technology studies, of which each component has 20 questions. And if you calculate 20 questions, there's 3 per components, that is there are 60 questions in total. As myself, I'm concerned, or I'll be concentrating on technology studies. That is for grade 7, and later on, when we have done maths in grade 7, we are going to look at tutorials or lessons for grade 6 and also grade 5. Why like this? Because this is where mostly the exams will be coming from. So I would urge that children to pay attention as I explain on what they are expected to do at the end of their grade 7 examination. So now, as you can see there, we are having what we call grade 7, that is technology studies. Now today, in today's lesson or tutorial, we are going to look at calculators. Now, if we talk about calculators, this is a well-known word to most of the children. We are able, or we have been seeing calculators with our friends. We have seen calculators in our shops, in the shops, in the markets, and also at school with our friends. And whenever when we are playing with our friends, we have seen this calculator. And also as we walk in town like that, we are able to see these calculators. So it is important that children at the 7 level, and also maybe those who have got interest to learn about calculators, to sit and watch this tutorial which I'm about to present. Now, as I've mentioned that calculators are common to each and every person, even a young one. If you ask to say, do you know calculator, they'll be able to answer that a calculator is well known. So we are going to look at what we call what is a calculator. Now, for us to define this calculator, first we need to look at the part which says, if you think back to earliest humans. Now here what they mean is that we are looking at the people who lived before we were born, that is before our grandparents were born. Those years back there. Those people could also count, but how did they count? These people could count using what we call fingers and the toes. So now we are going to say that we are going to look at to say, you might say that the first calculator was our fingers and the toes. That is true, because if you look at a long time ago, calculators were not there, and people could use what we call toes and fingers. And mostly maybe they could use sticks, they could use maybe stones to count their animals, like for example cattle, sheep or chickens, or maybe the family, somebody has a lot of children at home. How could this person count the children? So there are no calculators for them to count, let's say, objects. They had used what maybe God has given them, for example, like fingers, the toes, and then let's say sticks and the stones. Those were used for counting because calculators were not there. Now we move ahead where it says, in simple terms. Now here we are here to calculate, to define what a calculator is. A calculator is a tool. So we are going to look at the word tool. Now when we say tool, a tool is something or a machine which is made to make our work to be easy. A tool is something or a machine which is made to make our work easy. So now we are saying a calculator is a tool that you can use to do arithmetic, such as sums, for example, that is to add and subtract numbers. So just like we are looking to say, people in the old days, before a calculator was made, they could count using their toes and the fingers, using the sticks, using the stones, or anything they could see which can help them to count. So now, what was the counting? It was about maybe subtracting and the addition. Even nowadays, calculators also, when calculators were made, we are able to perform what we call arithmetic, that is in terms of adding and also subtracting. Thank you very much. So now we move on to look at it to say the abacus was used as a calculator 100 years ago. Now we are still looking at it to say how did the people of old years lived. So now what we are saying is that the abacus was used as a calculator that is 100 years ago, and is still used by many business people, that is in Africa and also in Asia today. Now for us to understand this part here, children, you look at the picture which we have just inserted here. This picture, it is showing us an abacus. This is what we call an abacus, and then we have what we call the modern calculator. So now this abacus is the one which was used a long time ago, and up to now people, or let's say people, are still using it. As you can see, it has what we call the beads there, which are inserted on the wires, and if we may count here, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So we are saying there are 10 beads there. Let's count the rows first. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So now this is an abacus. This one was used a long time ago when counting. Up to now, people are still using it for counting. So now what we are saying is that apart from this abacus also, we are looking at what has been made now, which has made our work to be easy. This is what we are calling as a tool that we can use to do some arithmetics. This is what we call a modern or standard calculator, the topic we are having today for you children. So now let us just try to go somewhere. We move down here where it says types of calculators. So we are going to look at types of calculators. When we say types of calculators, we are going to look at for example, like we have vehicles which are small and vehicles which are heavy duty. We have computers which are small. We have computers which can handle large huge of work, and then and so forth. So we are going to look at calculator types. So now what we are saying is that today there are different types of calculators that we can use in different circumstances. What we are saying is that we have so many different calculators which are used in different circumstances. What they are trying to say here is that, for example, like if to say you have a business of maybe selling tomato, or maybe you have a small shop, you may be required to be using what we call this type of a calculator, which is called a standard calculator. And then maybe, for example, like if you have, maybe you are in a school, you are studying maybe let's say science, or let's say you are having a higher mathematics, of which you are not required maybe to use this type of calculator, you may use the other type of calculator. So now that is what they mean by saying types of calculators. So now what we are saying is that in this handout, we will look at the following calculators now and how to use them. So what we are going to look at, we are going to look at a standard calculator. We are going to look at calculators which are on our cell phones. As you are aware that most of us here, we have got parents, or even ourselves, we have got cell phones, and most of the time now people cannot buy a calculator because our cell phones are having calculators. So now we are also going to discuss in our tutorial on scientific calculators. We'll also discuss about calculators which are on the computer. For instance, like I'm using this Windows 10, also it has got what we call an inbuilt calculator, which you are able to see children. For example, let's say 80 multiplied by 60 then equals, we have the answer there, 48. So later on we are going to be discussing about this type of calculator which is on the computer. So now we are going to say we will pay specific attention to calculators. Or what we are saying in other words that we are going to pay much attention to a calculator which is so common to every people, because this is a calculator which you can maybe use for simple mathematics, which is maybe found in a shop, a simple shop, a calculator which is not used by people who are studying science, or those who are studying higher mathematics, or people who are studying, let's say, subjects are too tough. So now, what we are saying is that we will pay specific attention to standard calculators. Now, when we say standard calculators, the standard calculator, it is this calculator we are able to see here, where there's a mouse or the mouse pointer. So now to understand about the standard calculators, and also it is good that we have a picture of our standard calculator. We are saying standard handheld. Now, when we say handheld, it means that this is a type of calculator you put in your hand when you are operating it or when you are using it. Handheld means you hold it in your hand as you operate it. So we are saying standard handheld calculators are used commonly in schools, for example, like you children here in class, and at home, and also in businesses. So this is a calculator which is so common to each and every person. This is a calculator mostly you see with people who do business in our communities. Now, what we are saying is that if you know the basic functions of a standard calculator, you will be able to apply. So now, what we are saying is that you will be able to apply that knowledge to use other types of calculators. Now, this point, what they are saying is that what is important is that if you be able to understand on how to use this type of a calculator, of which, let me just try to zoom it a bit like this. I zoom it a bit like that. So if you be able to use this type of calculator, for example, we are able to see MC. If you are able to understand MC, you are able to understand MR, you are able to understand M and the minus there, you are able to understand M and the plus there. Then you are able to understand division, you are able to understand multiplication, you are able to understand that is the subtraction, you are able to understand then that is a point there. Then it will be easy for you to understand these other calculators which may come on the way. So now, what we are saying is that the simplest and the standard calculators are able to add. So now, for example, like this calculator we are saying, we are looking here, we are here to discuss about, or I'm here to explain to you children, is that this is a standard calculator which is so simple to use. So this calculator can be used for adding, can be used for subtracting, can be used for multiplying, can be used for dividing, and work out the percentages also. It has also a provision on where you are supposed to work on percentages, like for example where there's a mouse pointer there, that is the button for the percentage. So what we are saying is that the simplest and standard calculators are those calculators which have simple operations or functions. That is, for example, like a calculator which is just used for adding and also subtracting, or maybe multiplying, then dividing, and also a percentage. So this is what we call a standard calculator. It doesn't have so many functions to be used. So now we look at the part which says, note that the keyboard is usually different to that of a cell phone or ATM. So now, if you look at this standard calculator, the part where we are seeing that keys, these are keys, and this is what we call the keyboard. The buttons or the keys we are seeing here may be different from a cell phone, and also if you have ever seen an ATM machine, the buttons which or the keys which are on the ATM machines are different from a standard calculator. That is the point we are looking at there. A standard calculator is a calculator which is so simple to use, which has only the function of maybe let's say addition, which has the function of only maybe let's say subtraction, then multiplication, then division. It has also a component of percentage. So what we are saying is that the keys which are here are different from the keys which are on the cell phone, and also the keys which are on the ATM. Thank you very much. So now we can look at the other part there. We are going to look at what we call the scientific calculator. Now when we say a scientific calculator, the difference will be determined after understanding the part we are about to look at here, which says a scientific calculator is a special type of calculator that is able to do many more operations than just add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Now children, you remember in the first place there where we are looking at the standard calculator. A standard calculator only looks at the function of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and the divide. It is a simple calculator which is mostly used by business people because it does not need a lot of work. Now, what we are saying is that we are looking at a type of calculator which is called a scientific calculator. This is a calculator which is so special in terms of use because it has so many functions or operations as compared to a standard calculator. So now, children, what we are seeing here on our picture here, this is a standard, or let's say a scientific calculator. It's different from a standard calculator. So now, let's say a scientific calculator is designed to solve problems in science, that is mathematics and engineering. So now, in this case, what we are saying, children, is that a standard calculator, the one we are from discussing there, this one here, cannot be used in mathematics, cannot be used in science. It cannot be used because the functions which are here, they are only maybe 5, which is addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and the percentage. Now, if you look at the scientific calculator, it has many functions, of which we are saying that it solves problems for people who are studying science, for people who are studying mathematics, for people who are in or studying engineering. So if you are doing these courses we are mentioning here, you are supposed to use what we call a scientific calculator, not a standard calculator. Thank you very much. The main function include logarithms, which are not on the standard, but this component is only found on a scientific calculator. And also the other function for the scientific calculator is trigonometry, which is also on just the scientific calculator, and the exponential. Okay, thank you. These are the 3 functions which are not on the standard calculator. Now, children, we can still move ahead to look at calculators which are on the computer. Now, what it is that every computer has a calculator built into it. Now, we are going to look at the word which says built into it. What I mean is that this is a calculator which comes with the computer. Every computer you are going to buy has what we call a calculator. So that calculator you find on the computer, it is what we call built into or built-in calculator. So hence this word which says built into calculator. So every computer has a calculator. So now here is how you find it on a computer using a Microsoft operating system. Now, in this handout of ours, the example which is given here, it is given on Windows 7. Now, in Windows 8, in Windows 10, like this operating system I'm using here, how to find a calculator, you can just go to what we call a Cortana. You click here on the Cortana and then type here the word calculator. As you can see, children, here is the word calculator. Then you left click on this one here, and then the calculator appears, so that you'll be able to use it like that nicely. So that is how you get a calculator on the computer in Windows 10. In our notes, it is Windows 7. So what we are saying is that you can go to Cortana, then you type the word calculator, calculator like that. Then from there, the calculator will be displayed there by the system, and then you click on it, and then the calculator will be displayed. We'll be able to now start working on our problems. As you can see, this calculator here, it is a scientific calculator because it has some functions which are not on the standard calculator. As you can see, what we are saying is that I'll zoom it like that. You are able to see MC there, MR, M plus, MC, MS, of which also we have the percentage there, we have the clear button there, we have the cancel button there, we have the delete button there, of which we may say it is a scientific partially calculator. So I'm going to close it. So now, what we are saying is that every computer has a calculator built into it. What we are saying is that whenever you buy a computer or a computer you borrow from your friends, a computer has always a calculator. Now here is how you find it on a computer using Microsoft operating system for above said area, that is Windows 7. So the first point, that is number one, is that you click on the start icon in the bottom left corner like that, which is, for example, like in here, this is the button or the start button menu where you click like that. Now if it is to say in Windows 7, there's a part which says all programs, for example like here, I'm sure here also we can also maybe access a calculator. If I can check, maybe we see under C's. Okay, we are able to see a calculator is there. Okay, this one here. So I'll repeat the operation. What we are saying is that you come to the start menu button, you left click here, then the menu appears. So we have a part which says, or the comment says all programs. You click on all programs, and then you scroll the bar down there like that. You check for where there's C. Calculator is under C. This is C. That is A, then B, then this is C. So we are able to see a calculator, of which when you click on it, the calculator will display on our screen, and then we'll start using it. Thank you very much. So now, let me just close it. So what we are saying is that you click on the start icon in the bottom left hand corner on the computer screen. Then what we are saying is that click on programs or all programs, like what we did there. Then it says click on accessories. This is children, this is on Windows 7. For example, like the computers we have for the school. So you can take time to maybe open a computer and check on this one here. Then it says click on calculator, which will pop up either below or to the right, like you saw it there. A calculator will appear. So for example, this is a calculator which will appear on your computer, and you'll be able now to use it for whatever purpose you want to use it from. Now let us look at where it says you can use this calculator in two ways. So now there are only two ways you can use this calculator. The first part says you can put the cursor on a button and click. So now in this case, what they are trying to explain is that this is our calculator. They are saying for you to use this calculator, the first option is that you can use the mouse pointer. This is a cursor I'm shaking. For example, like you can go on 5, then times, maybe let's say 3, then equals, by using the what? The mouse there. So this is the part they are saying you can use this calculator in two ways. You can put the cursor. The cursor is this movement shape which I'm doing here, and that is cursor on a button and click. So you can be clicking there, you click like that, then from there numbers will be displaying in our view mirror there, they need to be displaying. So now what we are saying is that you can use the number keypad on the right hand side of the keyboard. So now, if I may just show you a bit very fast, we look at what is this keypad they are talking about. So the keypad they are talking about is just a bit. So okay, here we are. So we are going to look at the keyboard here. Now this keyboard here, what we are saying is that on your computer, you can use this part which we call numeric keypad. It is called the numeric keypad. Numeric keypad. We can use these numbers which are here, that is to operate a calculator which is on the computer. By pressing numbers, we have number 1 there, we have number 2 there, we have number 3 there, we have a 0 there, we have 4 there, we have 5 there, we have 6, we have 7, we have 8, we have 9. Or you may use this row which is here. We have number 1 there, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9. Then we have a 0 there. So there are two ways you can use a calculator on the computer. There are two ways you can use a calculator on the computer. You can either use a mouse to press on the calculator, or you can use the numeric keypad on your keyboard of the computer to operate the calculator. Thank you very much, children. So now we look at the other part which says, we look at to say, let's assume that you have ever operated a computer before and you have ever used a calculator on the computer before, have you noticed that the computer has the symbol slash? This is what we call the slash symbol. This slash symbol, it is for division. And the symbol, for example, like etaristic symbol is for multiplication. This symbol means the division. This symbol means the division. This symbol means the multiplication. This symbol means the multiplication. So on our calculator of the computer, in Windows 7 and some lower versions of maybe Windows XP, you find that there is this symbol for division and this symbol for multiplication. Thank you very much. That's about a calculator on the computer. What we are going to look at, the other part, is about cell phone calculators. Now, when we say cell phone calculators, this is a calculator which is on the cell phone. So what we are going to do is that, let me just check on something here. Okay, thank you very much. So I will try to maybe zoom in a bit like this so that we are able to see. So now, this is what we are talking about to say. This is a cell phone, and this is also a cell phone. This is BlackBerry, this is Nokia. Now, we can also access our calculator on our cell phone. As you can see, children, here, this is our calculator on our BlackBerry cell phone. A cell phone is a phone you carry in your hand. For example, like here also, you are able to see your calculator there, which is very nice. So what we are going to do is that we can get this picture and maybe, let's say, we put it under somewhere where we are able to see it very nice like that. So we do it very fast like that there.
The time
so that we are able to
1
to see.
a.m.
So now we look at our notes again there. Let me just zoom it a bit so that our children are able to see what we are trying to look at here. So we are looking at the part which says calculators on the computer. We are done. Then we are looking at cell phone calculators. So now here what we are saying is that many people have a cell phone and not a standard calculator. So what we are saying is that many people have a cell phone and not a standard calculator. Like I mentioned on to say, people nowadays have stopped buying calculators, but instead they will buy a phone because the phone has a calculator. So it will be useful for you to know how to use the calculator on a cell phone. What we are saying is that it is important for you children to know on how to use a calculator which is on the phone. I hope each and everyone here knows on how to operate a calculator on the phone. So what we are saying is that the appearance of calculators on various makes of phones may vary, but the basic key functions are the same. This point here, what they are saying is that, for example, like if you look at the BlackBerry phone here, the way we are seeing it here, it is different from this Nokia phone. Here we are just able to see the numbers, and also we are able to see the navigation pad there, where we are seeing plus, division, and then minus, multiplication. Now in this case here we have so many functions which are there. So that is the part we are discussing to say many people have a cell. Is it? That's the part, yes, which says many people have a cell phone and not a standard calculator. So it will be useful for you to know how to use a calculator. Then the part we are discussing here is that the appearance of calculators on various makes of phones may vary. So we have so many different phones. We have so many different phones, and also the way they are different, that's how also a calculator is different. We have so many different types of cell phones. The way cell phones are different, that's the way also these calculators on the phones are different. So that's what they are trying to explain there. So now, how to use a calculator. We are going to look at how to use a calculator. So now, what we are saying is that in technology and in everyday life, A calculator can be very useful too. A long time ago, we are saying people could use their toes, their fingers, their stones, their sticks to count. Or maybe they could use things God gave them to count. Now, nowadays, we have what we call technology. So they are saying, where you are studying mathematics, where you are studying engineering, where you are studying science, a calculator can be very useful for you to do well in your studies. So when you are studying those components I've mentioned, let's say technology itself, engineering, then mathematics, science, for you to do well, you need to have what we call a calculator. Now, what after listening to that one, we are saying it can help you work out the budget for a project. For example, like if you are working on a project, you'll be able to work on the project nicely in terms of calculations. Then this one may include to say, for example, like how many bricks, we know the bricks, how many bricks you need to build a house. So a calculator will help you to calculate the number of bricks you need to build the house. Then how much varnish you need for woodwork project. So a calculator will help you to find how many tins of varnish can be bought for the woodwork project. And also a calculator also what the discount is worth at the hardware store. For example, like if you are buying so many things at the shop or hardware, there's always what we call the reduce the amount, which we call in our language as in English as discount. The word discount here means that when you are buying so many things and then the seller or somebody selling says, no, you have bought so many things here, we are going to reduce it maybe to this amount. That is what we call discount. So you also always use a calculator for you to calculate that discount. Then also how much wool you need to buy to knit a blanket. You also need a calculator. Now, after we have looked at on how to use a calculator, we are going to look at the other part which says common calculator keys. Now, when we say common calculator keys, we are looking at the keys which are found on either a scientific calculator or maybe standard calculator or maybe computer calculator or maybe let's say on a phone calculator. Now a key means these are buttons. These are buttons. What are some of the buttons which are common? For example, like if you look at a human being, you look at me, Dr. Mulimbi. What is common to me, it is also common to others. Me, I have a nose, you also have a nose. Have the eye, you also have eyes. Have ears, you also have ears. Have legs, you also have legs. Have fingers, you also have fingers. So those are some of the things we say they are common. So in this case, when we say calculator or keys which are common on the calculators, are those keys you can find on a scientific calculator? Are those keys which you can find on a standard calculator? Are those keys you can find on a computer calculator? So what we are saying is that in this case we are saying the keys on standard scientific key and computer calculators are laid out in a specific way. So what we are saying is that if you see a cell phone with a keypad, the order of the numbers will differ from that of a standard calculator. So what we are saying is that the order of numbers which are on the cell phone here, or the way the keys are aligned here and here, are different from the standard calculator. The one we discussed at first, they are different. So now what we are going to do is that we can just also pick this also here. We can put it somewhere here, or we can paste it somewhere here so that we are able to see what we are trying to explain here. So this is what we call the standard calculator. So now what we are saying is that the layout which is here for the keys, the layout which is here for the keys, and the layout which is here for the keys is different, but the function may be the same. Now the way they are made but are different. So now what we are saying is that smartphones, a smartphone is a phone that accesses the internet. So any phone which can access internet is called a smartphone. There are ordinary phones and also smartphones. A smartphone is a phone that can access the internet with touch screens, often use the same layout as the standard handheld calculators. So what we are saying is that if you have ever seen a smartphone before, we are saying a smartphone is a phone that accesses internet, where there's maybe WhatsApp, we are able to do a Google, you're able to browse. So we call that one as smartphones. So now, the way the smartphones calculators are made are the same as the standard handheld calculator. Remember I said handheld means that this is a calculator which you hold in your hand. This one comes from the word hand, your hand. Then held means to hold in your hand. Thank you very much. So now we look at the issue. It says, apart from number keys, there are also keys that we use to perform different functions. So now, apart from number keys, now what we are saying is that if you look at, let's say, our pictures here, we have what we call number keys. Number keys are, let's say, 1, 2, 3, that is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and also 0. These are called number keys. In here also we have 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0. These are called number keys. Then in here, the number keys are somewhere on the cell phone pad here. That's why you get the number keys. And then we can look at also the number keys on our keyboard here. We have 1, 2, 3. There's a 0 there. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are number keys. Then here also we have got what we call 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is 0. Those are number keys. So apart from the number keys, there are also keys that we use to perform different functions. This is very nice. So now what we are going to do is that we are going to check for a nice video where we are supposed to, let's see, let me check here, where we are supposed to look at on how, let's say, a calculator is used. So children, we are going to look at how the different keys are used in a calculator. That is, we have got number keys and we have also what we call the other keys which are used for different keys or different calculations.
Hello friends.
So now this is what we call a smartphone. A smartphone is a touch screen, is a phone which accesses the internet.
Welcome to this video. In this rainy day, I'm going to talk about the calculator of the iPhone.
Thank you very much. We are going to meet Mr. Mikey, who is going to explain on how to use this calculator on the smartphone. So let us watch and see what Mike will tell us.
There is not much to talk about it, but the only thing that
it is a touch screen. So we are able to see, this is the display. We have got 0 there, 1, 2, 3, that is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are number keys. Then we have other function keys, which are here, we are able to see there. These are number keys, these are function keys. So let's watch and see.
Visible there, that maybe some of you don't know what it does, is this button on the top, MC, M+, M-, and MR. They have the same function that in any regular calculator, but in case that you haven't used those buttons before, I'm going to explain what they do. It's very simple and actually very useful. If you want to store a number in memory for maybe a more complex calculation, you can all just press M+. So for example, I have 5. Let's say I want to keep 5 and remember it. So I just press M+, and you will see that the bottom MR, which stands for memory recall, is going to be highlighted. So if I clear this and I do whatever, and then clear again, if I want to get that number back, which was 5, all I do is press MR, and the 5 will come back. So MC means memory clear. So you see that I can do anything I want, and that MR is still highlighted because that number is still in memory. If I want to clear than 5 from memory, all I do is press MC, and that number will be gone. So if I press MR again, there is nothing there. Now finally, if I have something in memory, let's say I have 5 again, I'm going to put it again. Memory recall. Let's see. 5 memory, then M+, okay, and then I have it in memory now. It's highlighted. So let's say I want to add to that 5 that is stored in memory at some point a 4. So I press 4 and then plus, and now the MR should contain 9. So if I press N9, the number 9 adds. So all what happens is when you have a number and you place M plus, if there is nothing else in the memory, it will add whatever is on the screen to the number in memory. The same is with M minus. So if I have, let's say, 6, and I place M minus, now my MR is 3. So it's very simple but useful. It could be used when you have more complex calculations and you need to remember a number and do something with it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you very much for your support and for watching my channel.
Thank you very much, Uden. So now we're looking at on how a calculator is used. So that's about it. So what we are saying is that apart from number keys here, what we are saying, there are also keys that we use to perform different functions. Just like what Mike has explained there, we have number keys here, we have other keys which performs the other functions. So now, what we are saying is that the table below shows the meanings or functions of the different keys. So now we are going to first zoom in a bit. So we say, we also maybe adjust this, okay, like that. Then we are able to see our table there nicely like that. Let me scroll the page. Okay, it is full, and then pupils are able to see. Maybe we zoom it again like this so that we are able to see nicely. So we have the word here key and also function, meaning the button you press. When you press the button, this is how it does. We have also this is the key, the button you press, and this is what it does. So what we are saying is that when you have the AC, this one stands for all clear. AC, that is all clear. It is pressed to press to press it. It is pressed to clear or erase the previous operations. It also switches the calculator on. So AC, you use it to cancel the work, or let's say to clear the work you have maybe typed on your calculator. Then we have C. C stands for cancel or clear. It clears or it erases. To erase is to remove. Erases the previous number entered. Then we go to CE. CE stands for clear last entry. Sometimes called CE stroke, that is C. A first press clears the last entry, that is CE. Children, please try to find the calculator and maybe do this on your own. You'll be able to see how a calculator performs with these other functions. A second press clears O, that is C. Then we have what we call a percentage here, used to calculate the percentage of something entered. We now also need to practice on this one. Then off, pressed when you want to switch the power off and save the battery life of the calculator. So you discover that on the calculator there's the battery which is written off to switch off the calculator. Then we have what we call MC. This one is memory clear. You clear memory. You press this one to clear whatever which was in the memory. Then we have M plus, memory addition. So if in case you want to maybe you want to add on memory on what you have entered, you press this M plus. M minus is memory minus. That is to remove some memory which was added on your calculator. Then we go on the other side here, it says MR, memory recall. This is the, according to what you watched there on Mike's explanation, you command the number and then you say that the calculator keep it, so that some other time you'll be able to use it. Then we have also plus and minus there, tangle positive or negative numbers. This is where, for example, like in scientific calculators, you use what we call positive numbers and negative numbers. At grade 7 also, there are numbers for positive numbers and negative numbers. You understand this one. Then this minus is for division. Although it's not supposed to be like this, but okay, then it's supposed to be like that. Or let's say we can change it to be, let's say like this. This is for division. Then we look at to say this is multiplication and this is subtraction, this is addition. Then this one is supposed to be a decimal point like that. Then we have also results, that is the equal sign. Thank you very much. So now we can go ahead to look at functions of calculator keys. which we are from looking at there. Now, children, can you pay attention? We are going to look at using a handheld standard calculator in adding. What we are saying is that a handheld standard calculator is a calculator you move with in your hand. This word comes from the word hand, and then held means to hold. Standard calculator means this is a calculator which is commonly found everywhere. So we are going to look at how to add our problems on a handheld standard calculator. So now, to understand this, we are going to look at, let's say we have a beautiful girl here. Her name is Susan. Then what we are saying is that you want to work out how many desks there are in the 2 grade 7 classrooms. We have 2 grade 7 classrooms, and then let's say Susan wants to find out how many desks are there. So now, you count the desks in each class and find that class A has 23 desks and class B has 26 desks. So now, how do you do it on your calculator? So what we are saying is that this is what you do on the calculator. So we follow first step 1. Let's assume you have a calculator in your hand, which is called a handheld standard calculator. Handheld standard calculator. So now you switch it on. You switch on the calculator. That is by pressing AC or a similar non-numeric button. So a calculator should be switched on. Then step 2, what we are saying is that think about what you want to add. In this case, what we are saying is that in the first class for grade 7, there are 23 desks, and then in the second class, there are 26 desks. So we are going to have 2 and 3, then plus 2 and 6. Now, step 3 says, press button 2 on your calculator, and then press button 3 to get the number 23 on the display. Remember, that screen where the numbers are shown on the calculator, it is called display. Then step 4, press the button plus, that is plus, press the button plus because you want to add something to 23. Then step 5 says, press 2 and then 6 to get 26 on the display. Then step 6 says, press, that is the equal sign, so that the calculator can work out what 23 plus 26 is equal to. So in step 7, the figure of 49 should come up as the answer. Thank you very much. You can easily, so what we are saying is that this is how you use your calculator in terms of to add. You just go to the numbers, you press them. So what we are saying is that you can easily make a silly mistake. In this case, what we are saying is that be more careful as you use your calculator, because a calculator has made people to be in problems because it may give you wrong answers by maybe commanding wrong figures. So what we are saying is that you can easily make a silly mistake on a calculator and then get a silly answer. Always look at the answer and check that it would be close to what you would guess it would be. Okay, what we are saying, do not just accept what the calculator gives you. Okay, in this case, yes, you would have guessed that about 50 desks seems right. Thank you very much. So now, children, we are going to do this one as a class activity to add numbers on a calculator. Imagine that you want to work out how many desks there are in the whole school. Okay, you want to find out on how many desks are there in the whole school. You walk around the school and write down the numbers of desks in each classroom. So what we are saying is that class A has 23 desks. Okay, then class B has 26 desks. Then class C has 25 desks. Class D has 31 desks. Class E has 27 desks. Now what we are saying is that use your calculator to work out how many desks are there in your school. So then we have some other also additional activities here which you are supposed to do in your spare time. So what to do is that here you can pause the video and then you copy them and then you do them later after this lesson. So equally, you can also subtract numbers on a handheld standard calculator. The process is just the same like the way you did in addition. So now, for example, it says, let us say that there are 255 learners in the school, but 44 live on a class outing. They are saying the total number of people in the school are 255. Now they are saying 44 will go out for a tour out. So now they are saying how many learners are left in the school if 44 people will go on tour. So you need to work out 255, that is minus, or subtract, minus, take away, that is 45. So you follow the steps like what you did in addition. Step 1 is to press 255 minus 44. Step 2 is to press equals. Then step 3 is the figure of 211 should come up as the answer. So now children, you are also encouraged again to do the following activities in your spare time. What to do is that you can pause the video and then copy the questions and then do like what you are supposed to do. Then you can also do the same operations, for example, like in multiplying numbers, like what you have been taught in addition and subtraction. As you can see here also, where we are saying, for example, like you are multiplying 255 multiplied by 6. So you can then press equal sign for you to have the number which is 1530. So children, normally this is how you are supposed to use your calculator. Then for example, like it says work on your own, you are supposed to do this. You pause this video or tutorial to get these figures and then get a calculator and try on these numbers to find the answers. Equally also on this one where it says divide the numbers, you are supposed to also get a calculator and then do on the following numbers. Equally also on this division, you do the same, just like the way we have explained in the first place, that is in addition, like that. You can also do the same. Now what we are saying is that to work out on a percentage also, you can still use what we call a calculator. For example, like in you are saving money in our pig bank. This is what we call a pig bank, and this type of calculator is what we call a standard calculator because it is not used by people who are studying engineering, people who are studying mathematics, people who are studying science. It is normally used in a shop, or maybe you lose it for work which is so easy, not difficult work. Thank you very much, children. Then we can also here, this is your work. You are supposed to pause this video and then you go ahead to do that. Yes. Now, equally also, we are going to look at adding numbers on a calculator, of which we have just explained there. You are supposed to work on this one on your own. You pause the video and then get some parts there. So here they are showing us. So now you are supposed to get the calculator on your. So what I'll do is that I'll zoom it a bit there. I'll zoom in. Then what we are saying is that this is Windows 10 or Windows 7. So you come to no, this is Windows XP. Sorry. You come to the start button there. You click. Then here you are supposed to be shown to say there's all programs. Then all programs, you go to what we call accessories. Then under accessories you find the calculator. Then you can open it on the computer. Now subtracting numbers. Also this one you can try to practice this one by pausing this video. Then you get on the question. Multiplying numbers, you can also this one pause this one here also, and then you perform some calculations. So this is an example of a handheld calculator, the calculator you have been seeing every day with your friends. This one cannot be used by people who are studying science, mathematics and engineering. So equally, children, you can do this one as your homework at home by maybe pausing this tutorial and then you get some figures and then you make some calculations. So that is that there. So now what we are going to look at now also is that changing from the standard calculator to the scientific calculator on the computer. Now this one, what to do is that you need to have a Windows operating system computer. For this one, the Windows 10 operating system, you cannot let me see. Okay, you can also, so what we are going to do is that I'm going to demonstrate. on changing from standard calculator to scientific calculator on the computer. So what we are saying is that a calculator on the computer can either be a standard calculator, which is so common to each and everyone, or can be a scientific calculator, which can be used by people who are studying engineering, science, and mathematics. Now, we are going to demonstrate this using the Windows 10. So I'll get to my Cortana and type calculator there, and then I'll get my calculator. So now, as you can see, children, here, this one said standard. Standard means that this is a type of calculator normally each and every person uses. Either at business level in a shop, we use what we call standard. Now, if you check on this button here, it is now showing us on the types of calculators we are supposed to go for. For example, like this is the standard, the one we are using. There's what we call scientific, there's what we call programmer, there's what we call converter, there's what we call volume, there's what we call length, there's what we call weight and mass, there's what we call temperature. So now, this is a part we are looking at to say changing from the standard to scientific calculator on the computer, or changing to programmer on the computer, or changing to converter on the computer, or changing to volume on the computer. So for example, if we click on scientific, we'll be able to see so many functions which are not found on the standard calculator. These functions, for example, like this is x to the power 2, this is x to the power, that is y, then we have sine there, we have cosine, we have tangent, we have clear, we have cancel, we have that is backspace, we have got text to index 3, then we have, this is what we call the scientific calculator, which has been changed on the computer from standard to scientific calculator. So now, children, can you try to practice? Either this one can be found in Windows 7 or Windows 10 or Windows 8, and then you'll be able to do this one. So now, you can still pause and then you get to know the notes which are talking about there, but I've explained how you are supposed to change. So now, for example, like in this case, we are looking at to say this is our calculator, which is under Windows 10, Windows 7. We have what we call backspace there, we have clear there, we have cancel. Then we have got a display area here. It's a display area. We have what we call the MC there. We have the MR, we have the MS, we have the M plus. Then we have got number keys. These are number keys. We have functions, for example, like plus minus there, which is the negative or positive. This one, the plus is this one. This one is negative or positive. Then we have the decimal place there, or decimal point. We have the equal sign there. So it's more like a scientific bit. So now, what we are saying is that you go to where we say view, and then you click on scientific, then it goes to scientific. So, children, we are going to end on here. Next time as we meet, we are going to look at how to use a cell phone calculator in the next tutorial. Now for today, we are going to end on this one, and then I'm sure we are even done. It's over. So we cannot say, okay, thank you very much. So this marks the end of our lesson on calculators. So more will come as we look at the next lesson, which is on the internet. Thank you very much, children.